Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Mars square opposition or inconjunct one's natal south node. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Mars, this could be about energy, vitality, courage, fortitude, drive, motivation, anger, acrimony, initiative, and enterprise. Now, when transit Mars is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal south node. Now, I'm going to elaborate on that. When I say basically adverse aspect, what I'm saying is that the squares and oppositions, of course, can be adverse aspects or negative aspects in astrology. Now, the inconjunct aspect can be seen, maybe seen as neutral, but when you're when you have an inconjunct aspect in astrology, it can often require an adjustment, a transition. And when you're making some kind of adjustment, of course, it can be a little bit exasperating. It could have some tension in it. So that's why I'm saying collectively, this is basically an adverse aspect. Now, when you have transit Mars basically making the adverse aspect to one's natal south node, this could be about the energy, vitality, courage, fortitude, drive, motivation, anger, acrimony, initiative, and enterprise. This may conflict with your past. It might be harder perhaps to get away, to take the initiative and enterprise to get away from the past or leave something behind. It may be harder to extricate yourself perhaps from a different situation, from a difficult situation that might be affecting you very negatively. I mean, if the fourth house or the zodiac sign Cancer, is involved, if the south node is in the fourth, or the south node is in the zodiac sign Cancer, it could be a home situation. If the south node is in Aries, um, in the fourth house is another more specific example. It could be difficult getting away from an acrimonious or contentious situation in one's home or family life, or even somebody maybe one time you felt close to home with. So, anyway, this could also be another way that this is something too. When you look at the south node is connected with our um, with some cases, not some cases, South Node is connected with what we're going away from. And the thing is, again, it can be harder to summon the energy, the vitality, the courage to get away from something that might be affecting us adversely. Now, I don't know. I mean, some of you out there may believe this, some may not. And as far as past lives, that the South Node can be associated with that. If you do believe in past lives and astrology, and might be a time where if you might feel that there's somebody maybe you battled with in a past life. If you do believe, and again, if you do believe in past lives, somebody you battled with had a situation that was quarrelsome with someone in a past time. This could be something that you might feel might be resurfacing in this time around, and it could be someone from the you believe from the past is causing you feel angry, to be agitated for whatever reason at this time. And also, South Node is associated with what we're leaving behind, what we want to get away from. This is a situation where, again, it could be harder to summon the courage, the fortitude, the drive, and motivation to really just leave something behind. It might have served its purpose, and it's not something that's going to really be beneficial to us in the future. Say if Taurus and or the second house is involved, like if the South Node is in Taurus and or the second house, it could be a monetary situation that maybe hasn't. It's done its purpose, and it's not a situation that you're going to be, satisfied with anymore. It can be something to another way. This transit can manifest. Keep in mind, the South Node is connected with those redundant and overdeveloped qualities or attributes that one may have, and it could be something where you might be angrier at those qualities at this time. That might be, a little bit irksome to you. Say if the South Node, you have your natal South Node in Aquarius, It might be very, sometimes even quirky or overly eccentric or non-conforming just for the sake of deviating from what others may do. Just that need, to be unique and different. It could be just for the sake of being different. I'm not saying you're going to be, climbing the walls on, suction cups on your hands like Spider-Man, or do a Nick Wallenda. I don't know remember if that's his name, but he was someone that I think became the first person to tightrope over the Grand Canyon without netting. But I'm barely being flippant with it. But you understand what I'm saying. It's just the simple, fact that these qualities you might not really be happy with at this time, and it can be something where, when you look at this transit as well, it's also, the South Node can be energy, though it might be, it could be energy you're naturally proficient in, but it could also be energy that may affect you to your detriment. And this could be something that it might be harder to take action to get away, from that energy, at this time more so than usual. It can be, going back to the zodiac sign Taurus, say if there's Taurus in the, the natal South Node is in Taurus in the third house as an example, it can be being overly stubborn and obstinate with matters that are associated with your neighbors or your siblings or cousins at this time, or people that are prominent in your short journeys. As an example, it can be also where, again, the South Node is connected, though, with what you're naturally proficient in. And it might be a time where you don't really have the enthusiasm or exuberance to be doing those things you may be naturally proficient in. Say if the South Node is in Capricorn, it could be something connected with business acumen, or something associated with government or politics, or even improving your stature in life, and matters with your career at this time, matters with structure and discipline. Now, another way this transit may be expressed, you might not be motivated, again, going back to what you're naturally proficient in, you may not be as motivated to do those things you are naturally proficient in at this time. Say, for example, the South Node, say, is in Pisces in the 5th house. It can be using your imagination for something with games or sports related. It could be, playing like hypothetical, which could be Pisces, or simulated. I would say that would be Pisces as well. Sports matchups, and sports, of course, could be connected with the 5th house. Another way this transit may manifest, it could be a situation that might be acrimonious or contentious, maybe a little bit harder to get away from, extricate yourself from at this time. Remember, this South Node is connected what we're going away from. Mars could be acrimonious energy. Say if the transit of Mars is in Sagittarius, it could be some dispute with somebody you're having that's been going on for a little bit over philosophy or religion. Sometimes it might even be sports in some cases, but it might be something that might be taken more seriously than it should in some cases. Now, Mars is also connected with accidents, with physical injuries. So at this time, physical injury or an accident may adversely affect matters or maybe activities you want to be involved in with a person that might be from your past. Say if, let's say if the South Node, for example, natal South Node is in Capricorn in the 4th house, it could be doing some kind of construction, which could be Capricorn in the home, which is the family, or it may be somebody, that might be, a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, or one that simply embodies those characteristics that you may feel close to home with at this time. And it might be where you might have some matters with that person that you're having difficulty taking care of because of a physical injury in some cases. Now, another thing too, another way this transit may be expressed, it could be perhaps you're angry at those overdeveloped and redundant qualities of the placement. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, again, it could be being angry at those overdeveloped qualities, those redundant qualities of the placement. Say, for example, if your natal south node is in Virgo, it could be excessive criticism, hypochondriac tendencies, and say if it's in the fifth house, like in my case, I have the south node in Virgo in my fifth house in my natal chart. It might be being overly critical or judgmental, or even being overly frugal. It could be, with people, in your life that you love, or it could be a romantic partner, potential romantic partner, or lover. Can also be where you might have more difficulty finding the courage at this time to leave something behind, to something that has served its time. It's something that's not beneficial or advantageous to you anymore. Say, for example, if the south node is in Leo in the 11th house. Now, this could be somebody that may have been, showed fierce loyalty as a friend, but it could have, over time, somebody might have been, very domineering. That was a friend, and is starting to become overly domineering and controlling, and maybe is exhibiting some arrogant qualities at this time. And they're being overly dictatorial, telling you what you need to do, and it might be a time where you're having trouble getting away from the situation. Many of you may know, because I've said in a number of previous videos, I have Taurus rising, and when you have Taurus prominent in your chart, as an example, you can have it can be very difficult to get out of for you to move forward and get out of situations where that might be difficult. That might be to your detriment anyway. And then when you have a transit like this, can make it increasingly difficult to take action in those matters. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.